Exactly, Janine, right? We always teach what we needed to learn previously. So you can imagine I grew up in Latin America. That's a very chauvinistic society. On top of that, I grew up in a very religious, strictly religious home, and very much, yeah, where the women are subservient to men, right? So it is common in my culture for men to speak, in a bad manner to women, not respect them. Actually, it's seen as this is how men are. Men are selfish. We have to accept that men are selfish. Oh, men have bad characters. You have to accept that, right? Oh, don't get him angry. Speak softly because then you're going to get him angry. And on top of that, Janine, the Christianity, unfortunately, has a lot of chauvinism. You can, of course, the Bible, Christianity has a lot of everything. But I've seen there is an undercurrent of chauvinism. And when you combine a chauvinistic society with Christianity, oh my God, they're going to pick out all the verses that confirm there's the chauvinism, right? So this is where I was coming from. And so I married a man with a big ego, and it was his way or no way at all, right? And to me, this was normal. And we accept in our lives, whatever is normal. Everything, right? Whether it's poverty or wealth. If it's normal, we allow it into our lives. It's going to be part of our lives, right? So chauvinism and this attitude was normal to me. And it took me many years, to realize, wait, I'm not happy. This should not be like this. Why am I putting up with this? There's something wrong with this. I didn't even know what it was. And I had started to ask God, God, there must be a way that things can be better. Oh, I think I've frozen. Have I frozen? No?
I can see you frozen. I can hear you, but the video somehow is frozen.
Oh, this is a shame.
Oh, no. Let me see.
The funny thing is that you can hear me perfectly.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Somehow the video got... You know what you can try to do? Stop the video and then restarted it. And I will do the same. So probably it's a bandwidth problem. Okay, now I can see you.
That's good.
Phew! Okay.
Yeah, at least we found a solution. Okay, so where was I? Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm going to take over. So I had to go on this journey to try to find out what was wrong. And I actually asked God, God, there must be tools that can help me and help women around me, because I could see this was a common problem of Latinas married to Europeans. I was living in Zurich at that time. And this is how I ended up in coaching, and I became a coach, and I got a coach myself to deal with my own issues. And I was able to break free and change so much. And I have to tell these women, people pleasers, Janine, that it actually felt like my heart was being ripped apart. The moment, Janine, that I realized, okay, no, I'm not going to go back to my husband and pretend everything is fine after I feel so hurt. I feel like the moment I broke that addiction, that dependency, it felt like somebody was ripping my heart out. Isn't that amazing? But it was worth it. And that's what keeps us, Janine, and that's what keeps us in this addiction, because people pleasing is an addiction. It keeps us there because for a while to get rid of that is so painful that we always avoid it, because we think, we are convinced because of our childhood traumas, this is the end of the world. If I lose this person's love, if I lose this relationship, this is the end of the world, right? Mm-hmm. But Janine, what I want to tell people, and this is my specialty, actually it's so easy to heal when you're with somebody with the right tools, right? To help you see where the trauma is and heal that from the root, from the trauma.
Exactly, because as you said, that those are usually familiar. As you said, it was a cultural problem. So that's what you thought women should behave, because this is how men behave. But truth to be told, you're a coach and I'm a therapist. We know both that men who behave like they are putting a facade, and actually men do cry. And it's okay for men to cry, to feel vulnerable, because they're human beings. But some men really struggle to connect with their emotions because they are trained, and since they're very little, like, it's horrible. I've heard parents say to a 3-year-old boy, "Stop crying, you're not a girl," and I get goosebumps. It's like, it's an emotion. Men cry too, and the ones that are trying to be all like this, they are scared. So, but we need to break that thing that it's not familiar. That's not okay, because it's not balanced. When I have noticed we have two ways to connect. We either connect with people with a connection level or dominance. And when we are in a dominance or we are subtle to somebody, it's never balanced. Instead, the connection one is the right one.
Exactly. I love that you're talking about that, Janina. I always had this feeling in my marriage that my ex-husband wanted to be here and treated me like I was here. It was such an asymmetric relationship. You know, I always had to give in to what he wanted. And that's exactly what I teach now. No, it's impossible to have a healthy relationship like that way. And it's not sustainable, you know. At one point, one or the two or both are going to get tired, because I'm going to get tired of not being heard. But this person actually can also get tired of having all the burden on their shoulders, because they think I have to make all the decisions. What a huge burden that is, right? Now I am with a Scandinavian man, and in Scandinavia is the opposite. Like these are societies that are really structured around treating men and women the same, right? And it is beautiful because he's not trying to be Superman. He doesn't put that pressure on himself, right? He's like, what do you think? I want to hear your opinion, you know? So we make all decisions together. And so we are sharing the burden, the responsibility, right? And if something goes wrong, it is both our responsibilities. Nobody has to accuse the other person, right? And it's so healthy.
Absolutely, because also being an adult, the good healthy relationship is where we all can shine with our strengths. Like if we are strong to keep the books, we keep the books. Like I'm very bad with numbers. I'm a bit even sometimes in bad numbers, so I'm very bad at that. But if you are strong in something, then you can be good at this, and the other person is good in maybe something else, and together we're very strong. Instead, when we have a dominant person in the relationship, they're trying to be everything, and it's like they are a parent to us, while we are always like the child. And as you said, they always need to dominate, but it's exhausting because they always need to have control and everything. But somehow they can blame the wife if things go wrong. It's like, it's your fault. So it's very dysfunctional. But the thing is, I've been thinking and I've been talking about what happens if all the women step up to this dominant man, or even men are in abusive relationships. So what happens when all the nice people step up to these abusive or dominant people? Where do they go? And the fact is, I have been arrived to the conclusion with other people that they need to step up. They need to step up in their own game so they will become better humans. But it's not our role to wait for them to step up. Let them go. Find someone. Life is short, guys. Ladies and gentlemen. Get to somebody who is right for you now, and let them do their own journey in their own time. Because some people might not ever change, so you're waiting around. And
yes, I mean, exactly. And it's also about respecting the other person's journey, right? Yeah. I thought, no, my ex-husband should do this and that. No, and then I couldn't love him either, because then when you're expecting somebody from somebody, they're not giving it to you, then you're really mad, you hate them, right? So exactly, and this is not flowing with mine. When you start to flow, right? When I started to flow and say, okay, I release him, right? I release this relationship. Then what was right for me, right? The right perfect man that flowed into my life. My ex flowed out of my life, and he's pursuing his own journey. And what is interesting to me, Janine, is that now I can love him. I can love him now from afar. I wish him well. I pray for him. I bless him. But I also teach people the fact that you love somebody doesn't mean you have to be married to them, right? In fact, actually, even the Bible says, love your enemies. We are to love everybody, but that doesn't mean we have to marry them or stay married to them, right? So no, release people, respect their journey, and then life will bring to you what is now in alignment to you, right? I think life is so easy, Janine. This is my main message to people. Life is easy if you are in flow. Because if you are in flow, what is not for you will flow out, and what is for you will flow in, effortlessly, actually, effortlessly. And I love that. I say here, I think life is meant to be lived effortlessly. I really do.
Wow, I love it. I love it. And when you work with your clients, how can what's the process? Like, how can you help them to heal? Because like you help people, women, to help them to heal relationship where their partner don't respect them, where they are stuck in an unhealthy relationship, and often we don't know what we want, and we are incredibly indecisive. We are full of self-doubt. So how do you help a woman who has and we set the love cramps? I love these. Are all things that I found on your website. I was like, yes, we do these. And how do you help your clients to get that boundaries and that assertiveness so people can respect them?
Yeah, I love this question, honey. I think a lot of coaches treat this from the conscious level. So you know what is happening, so don't accept it. If this is that, you say that, or something like that. And I have found this is completely ineffective because the patterns in our behaviors always come from our childhood traumas, what we lived in childhood, right? Because that's why they're called the formative years. So I will give you an example. If somebody has this pattern of, oh yeah, no, the other one is always right, right? So I have to give in, and I am subservient to this other person. What I do is I take my clients on this journey, in one session, I take them through this journey of where does this come from? Because if it's a pattern, Janine, it was there from very long time ago. And I take them through that journey, and when they see the truth, then they are set free. I give you a very concrete example, okay? I love examples.
Yes.
Like the first example that comes to my mind, like from my last client. She is somebody, she's a very beautiful woman, very smart. And she told me, oh God, I had a call with a headhunter. She's looking for a new job now. And I had this hope that it was going to be the right job. And then this headhunter tells me, no, you have to downgrade. Don't say you've done this, downplay yourself, accept this. And so, yeah. So he told me all these things. So now I am crushed again. And then, okay, so you have this hope and then you're crushed. So then I start to ask her questions, and I discover this is a pattern in her life, which always is, right? I mean, when somebody feels something strongly, I automatically know it's a pattern. And it was just a trigger. This headhunter was a trigger to something very deep inside the person. So I take her through this journey. What do we find? When she was 6 years old, her mother was an alcoholic. And she described to me how every day she would come home from school. She would come home from school. And she would be hoping, I hope it's my mom who opens the door and not this monster that she becomes when she drinks. Or I hope somebody opens the door. Sometimes nobody would open the door. So she would tell me, yes, I had this feeling of, I was hoping, please God, that is my mom. And most of the time it was not, and she would feel this crushing feeling. And I told her, do you see how it's exactly the same feeling what you felt yesterday at the age of, she's almost 40-something. At 40-something, you had the exact same feeling you had when you were 6, 7 years old. Yeah. Right? And people are like, oh my God, it's so true. I'm just reliving this that I have with my mom. And I love it, Janine, because then it's like, it's a revelation to people, and it sets them free. And then I tell them, okay, so how are we going to change that pattern? So I want you to be back at being that little girl of 6. How are you going to deal with this differently so that you eliminate this pattern from your life? And people always come up with the answer, you know? So she came up with this, okay,